Hey guys, KRSif here with another review. This time I'll be reviewing the RKF Rider Armor Series OOO's armor from Kamen GO. This is a set of armor that can be put together and then equipped to either the GO or Geiz figures for armor time. So, let's get started. To start, we'll look at the OOO's armor on its own. Now, one thing that sets the OOO's armor apart from other Rider armors is that unlike the others that typically start off as an assembled suit of armor, that then just gets taken apart and equipped to the riders, the OOO's armor instead is divided into three miniature animals based on the three animals of OOO's Taka combo. We have a hawk, a tiger, and a grasshopper, aka Taka, Tora, and Batta. Start with the Taka piece. So this is a small unarticulated piece, which you can see is painted in a very nice metallic red. You can see the details here of the head and the molded in wings, as well as the tail feathers back here. Now I'm actually going to just be showing this side, as the other side is basically just the mask for the combined OOO's armor. Next we have the Tora piece. This one is obviously the biggest, consisting of this big tiger, which is mainly yellow plastic but with some black and yellow paint. It's got some front claws back here, as well as some rear legs, and also a little tail molded on. It's got some pretty good details. And while it's not painted too much, it does have a little bit of articulation in that you can basically move around some of the joints that are used for the actual combination, though those would result in some rather awkward poses if you were to try to do that. So it's actually better as just a straight up neutral posed piece. Finally we have the Batta piece. So this is this long green and silver grasshopper, where you can see the antenna here and the front legs, as well as of course the large back legs. Though it does have this kind of awkward gap in the front where there would be some sort of a face. That being said, they actually add in the details that I guess could be assumed to be eyes here and here. And you can move the antenna for this. Unfortunately, you can't really move the legs much, as they're actually a pair of different pieces that are combined to form said legs, so if you were to try to move them around, that would kind of break up the flow of it. But each one has its own proper size and shape, and they definitely do represent those animals pretty well. Next up, it's armor time. So to start, we'll prepare Kamen GO. Unlike with other Rider armors, we just need to remove the Rider watch pieces from the side, and we'll leave the belt in place. And for the combination, we'll start with the Tora piece. So we're going to start, fold down the claws here, and take these two pieces here and unclip them from the rest of it. We'll fold out the shoulder pieces and open up in the back. We'll go over to GO. Kind of fold it over and try to fit his head through it. We'll clip this piece on the back and just get it secured in place. Then we'll take this piece and put it on the right arm. I'll take the other side and put it on the left arm. And it'll likely help if we move the shoulder pieces out of the way a little bit. Next we'll go to the Batta piece. I'm going to take this piece here on the back and detach it from the rest. We'll take the main body and split it in half. We'll fold down the antenna and fold up these parts of the legs. We'll fold these pieces forward a little bit. And we're going to take this come to the middle and take this centerpiece and attach it here to the chest piece. And fold up these pieces against the body. Then we'll take the leg attachments and put them on the sides, making sure that these pieces are in the front. Do the same on the other side. Oh, my mistake, I was actually not using the right peg. Alright, we got those on now. Finally, we'll take the Taka piece. We're going to clip this into the chest. We're going to slide into this notch. Then make sure it's just properly secured in place. And here we have Kamen OOO's armor. So let's take a look. Obviously, being based on O's, this is based on O's Tatawa combo. So we have the Taka head, Tora arms, and Batta legs. Though what's interesting about this is that despite definitely being based on Tatawa, because of the prominence of the red, yellow, and green, it also bears some resemblance to Super Tatawa combo, where the color scheme was basically inversed or inverted rather, and basically the primary colors took precedence over the black that's typically the main part of O's body. Starting off with the head, you can see it's got the wings for the Taka head as well as the beak and the feather pieces. Of course, being a GO armor, you've got the name O's in katakana, Ozu. Coming down to the chest is where things actually get a bit more fun. Rather than the typical chest piece for O's Tatawa combo, which has a picture of a hawk, tiger, and grasshopper, we instead have the animal names written in katakana. Taka, Tora, Batta. So really infusing the Tatawa combo with the kind of GO feel. Now see that the Tora becomes the head and tail, or the head and tail get attached to the shoulder pieces. Unfortunately, because of the way it's designed, he only has a single claw, whereas the other arm just has nothing on it. Then you have the leg pieces, which extend all the way down the sides. The one thing that is a bit of an oversight is that the belt doesn't change. And obviously with this being an armor time, or basically, yeah, an armor time version of GO, it should have 2 ride watches in it, but it didn't include an alternate piece to attach. And while you could attach one of the pieces from your other armors, the problem is it wouldn't come with this extended watch bit, so it would be inaccurate. Looking at the back, we actually have a bit more detail, including this circle here, which is similar to the one on all the forms of O's. Now, articulation-wise, like with the Forza armor, because of the way this attaches, the head is no longer movable. You move the shoulders this much out of the way, which does free up a pretty good amount of outwards movement for the arms, and they can still go forward, though the actual shoulder pieces seem to mostly just have outwards movement, so if you were to do that, they wouldn't exactly flow with the rest of the arms. Additionally, the legs aren't too hindered, though the problem here is that they just have this one point in which they bend, and there is no hinge here, so if you were to bend the knees, these upper pieces would go along with them and stick outwards. And to that point, I think they probably could have engineered some kind of hinge in here that will allow you to bend the knees and have this piece still be attached to the thigh. Of course, it also has the key details like the ride watch holders being on the arm attachments, and having, of course, GO's clock hands as the antennae. While it is certainly bulky, it's also a very colorful and very appealing looking form. Of course, like I said in the beginning, we can use this set to make Kamen Rider Gates OO's armor. However, it runs into the same problem as the Forza armor, wherein, although it can technically be put on Gates, it doesn't actually work for Gates. Again, we only have the GO headpiece, so it has his antenna, and then the pink eyes with katakana. We run into another problem with how the chest piece has these 3 words in katakana. So in order for this to actually work for Gates, they'd have to make alternate pieces for the head, torso, and midsection. That would have to be completely new molds and basically would cost extra, which is probably why Bandai didn't decide to design or make them. Though it doesn't run into the kind of clashing problem it had where it has other pieces that are meant to go along with other colors of the rider's body. The rest of it works fine on Gates. It is just a shame that this is really more of a technicality and a formality than something that's really meant to be done. And there we go. Overall, the OO's armor is very creative and unique in how it branches out from the other rider armors, but that comes at a bit of a cost. It's very clever how they decide to make the OO's armor be made out of the 3 different animals that make up OO's Tataba combo, and it definitely does do something a little bit different, and it looks very good on Kamen Rider GO. However, on the flip side, it comes at the cost of being so specialized for GO that doesn't work for Gates. And rather than getting a proper Gates OO's armor, we instead are only able to make Gates with GO's version of the OO's armor. And it certainly would have been nice to see some alternate pieces made to be able to properly get that other rider armor. And it kind of takes away from the main appeal of those first 3 sets of rider armors, where they could work equally well for both GO or Gates, at least depending on your preference. And this wouldn't be so bad if not for the fact that the one very specialized armor for Gates, the Wizard armor, is not set to appear in the Rider Armor series. And in general, it's a shame that out of the 5 armors we've gone thus far, only one of them is one that's mainly used by Gates. While Gates has used the build armor in the series, of course, that is mainly made for GO, so it's kind of unfairly imbalanced especially with how, in general, GO has more armors than Gates. So it would have been nice to see a little bit more balance out and get a couple more armors that are mainly meant for Gates. However, as far as this one goes, it is definitely fun and it is creative and cool to put on your GO figure. So if you're a fan of this armor and you want to get 40 figures, I can definitely recommend picking it up. Next time I'll be reviewing the Deluxe Great Cross Dragon, Tuesday at 6 PM PST. So, thanks for watching. If you enjoyed this video, please leave a like. Let me know your thoughts down in the comments. And if you're new and would like to see more, please subscribe and hit the bell icon. And for now, this is KRX50, writing off.